But the Bucs ain't a dominant team like that I see getting to the NFC Championship when you have the Eagles and the Packers and the Lions.
I actually think the Bucs can have a Detroit Lions type tenure right now.
Baker's a good quarterback.
Yeah.
I can finally say that. When I look at him, I say, okay, he's a good quarterback.
And ultimately, Baker, the last 2 years, been a really good quarterback that's gotten his offensive coordinators head coaching jobs. Like, that's the sign of how good a player RU is.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. We're talking about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in today's video because this is one of those teams where you're at a bar with a buddy, you're kicking it back with some buddies, you're talking some NFL football, and the discussion of like dark horse, under the radar teams comes up. Well, my pick would be the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and it really isn't crazy because if you've been following, like if you're a fan of Tampa Bay, since Tom Brady, it's really been a very cool, monumental, like year-to-year improvement. And this does kind of feel like the year where everything comes together, specifically defensively, where Tampa could make a deep postseason run because we know the issues don't come offensively. Tampa's coming off one of their best seasons in team history. Baker Mayfield just threw for 4,500 yards, which was the 5th highest season total in franchise history. And to even go further, his 41 total touchdowns trailed only Tom Brady's 43 back in 2021. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers also turned from one of the worst, if not the worst, rushing team in the last few seasons to one of the best, with the simple addition of Bucky Irving and Sean Tucker, along with Rachaad White. Rookie running back Bucky Irving rushed for 1,122 yards last year, which placed him amongst the top 10 single-season rushing performances in Buccaneers history. And then this is the big one. Tampa's 502 points scored last year were the second most to only their 2021 year with Tom Brady at 511. So things are coming together. As you can see from the title of this video, the difference maker, in my opinion, next season, if we're talking offensively, would be Bucky Irving. Because, like I said, we've been covering the Bucs for years now. It's been like 3 or 4 years we've been covering Tampa Bay. Only this past season, I swear, don't fact check me or maybe fact check me, let me know if I'm wrong, but it literally feels like every year but this past season, Tampa was the worst running back group in the entire NFL statistically. So folks, before we get any further into tonight's video, hit that like button, hit that sub button for daily NFL content. Try and get this video to 150 likes, folks. It means the absolute world to me. So even though he was a rookie last season, Bucky Irving emerged as the lead back for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers offense. He finished first on the team in both rushing, like we said, at 1,122 yards, and then he also had a total of over 1,500 yards from scrimmage. Now, it was kind of interesting last year because he outperformed Rachaad White. He averaged 5.4 yards per carry. Rachaad White actually had a decent efficiency year, averaging 4.3 yards per carry. They had similar numbers as pass catchers. And then I believe like Rachaad White had, off the top of my head, I think 6 receiving touchdowns. But this is the last year of his contract, and it kind of does feel like this might be the last season for Bucky. But for Rachaad. Real quick on that contract season, no matter what Rachaad White's role is next year, I do feel very good about like a statistical season from him, just with a chip on his shoulder next year, looking for another contract, whether it's with Tampa or not. This is a big season for Rachaad White. So I was reading some PFF running back rankings, and thankfully they had Tampa where they should be, and that was at least the top 10. They came in at number 6, and it was main reason Bucky Irving. The dude's crazy. He ranked 4th amongst all running backs with a 90.8 PFF overall grade. He was the only player in the league to earn a 90-plus mark as both a runner and a receiver. And then, like we keep saying, Rachaad White was a very good contributor last year. He had a solid 74 PFF grade, very good complimentary running back for Tampa last season. And then you go even back to third-string guy Sean Tucker. He had an 80 PFF grade, over 237 all-purpose yards, including kick returns. The guy was also a hidden gem for Tampa last season. But, when you talk about Tampa, most people bring up Baker Mayfield, and then or Mike Evans, Baker Mayfield, Chris Godwin, etc., etc. But what a lot of people don't understand is Tampa's actually got a really good offensive line. It's actually pretty crazy. Most ball can't say that word apparently. Most ball knowers, as they say on TikTok, know players like Tristan Wirfs at left tackle, but this whole offensive line is very deep, and it was cool because second-year improvements in back-to-back seasons have really been evolving this offensive line. Like Luke Godecki in 2023, Cody Mauch last year in 2024. They turned into, on the right side of the football, above average offensive linemen. So that's what we're looking for with center Graham Barton coming off his rookie season. And then, like we mentioned a minute ago, left tackle Tristan Wirfs had a 94.1 PFF pass blocking grade in 2024. That was number one amongst all NFL offensive tackles. So, I get it. There's actually, if you get a little bit more nicher, there's some concern because Tampa was like just slightly worst run blocking last season. I believe they were like the 18th best run blocking grade last season. Hopefully that just continues to improve with further development with these young bucks. But, really, like we keep saying, the headliners, Baker Mayfield, Mike Evans, blah, blah, blah. If you're talking Tampa and it's like ESPN or, CBS or whatever it is, most people are bringing up their first-round draft pick, Emeka Egbuka, in the first round, which truly is crazy. There's not many teams in the National Football League that can really replicate or emulate, I should say, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers' offensive firepower. Last season, they ranked in the top 9 across every major offensive grading category except, like we said, 18th in PFF run blocking. All 11 starters will be returning for 2025, including, most importantly, Baker Mayfield, who just had a career season, posted the 6th best PFF overall grade amongst all qualified quarterbacks. Like I said, you picked up new wide receiver, further development from Bucky Irving, Cade Otton, etc., Trey Palmer, Jalen McMillan especially. This team truly, on paper, is absolutely terrifying. Some people have concerns about the new offense coordinator. We've talked about that time and time again on this channel, so I won't even get into it. We didn't mention any defense in today's video, but I do want to just say something real quick. As far as like a casual standpoint goes, the biggest weakness, and it wasn't even close for Tampa last season, was their pass defense, their defensive back room. And if you ask a guy like me, my explanation or my reasoning for why Tampa was so bad in that category last year was simply due to injuries. Like, to me, that's literally it. I'm expecting big things from guys like Tyke Smith, but I think the simple addition of a healthy Antoine Winfield Jr. really should just help out that secondary, snaps moment or moment's notice. Is that what it is? I think that's what it is. Sounds kind of weird to say out loud. But there's a bunch of dogs on this team. Hassan Reddick, new addition, a bunch of rookies coming on over. Elijah Cansey entering another season. Kalijah's an absolute dog. Servassier Dennis coming back healthy. Yaya Diaby. There's a lot of players on this defense that people don't know, and we look at the defense back room like Zion McCollum, Christian Izien. A lot of these dudes, Antoine Winfield, were banged up last season. So I feel really, really good about Tampa for 2025. Let me know if you feel this, or share the same sentiment. Hit that like button, hit that sub button as always, and we'll see you guys later. Peace.